You know, we were 48,000, now we're at 40,000. What happened? So the last 3 or 4 months, a wild ride for the Bitcoin, also the crypto world. But now some investors are starting to wonder if this current pullback is an example of either sell the news or maybe bait and switch. Anthony Pompliano. All right, I mean, you know, might be some buyer's remorse out there. You know, we were 48,000, now we're at 40,000. What happened?
Well, look, there's a huge run-up in price, obviously, from mid-October until the actual approval. So we're sitting around $27,000 back in mid-October and almost doubled in price. And so obviously there's going to be some profit taking. I also think that people don't quite understand all of the different things that are happening in the market in terms of grayscale, right? GBTC still has a 1.5% management fee. And so there's people who are dumping that. About $2 billion has flowed out, which is more than covering the inflows that have come in on the ETF side. And so you just have a lot of sellers at the moment. But I do think that we're seeing so much interest in the ETFs. If everyone just waits and chills, the price will be just fine.
You know, there's always been this sort of undercurrent that on one hand, you want the Wall Street involved, but on the other hand, you really don't want Wall Street involved. You know what I mean?
I think that there's going to be a pre-ETF era and a post-ETF era when it comes to Bitcoin's history. And what you have to remember is that when you get tons of Wall Street investors involved and you get lots of liquidity in the market, volatility will dampen. The good news is we probably won't have a lot of 80% drawdowns anymore. But the bad news may be you may not have those asymmetric 1,000% gains in a single year either.
I saw something from out of ARK, and it says Bitcoin's hash rate is at an all-time high. 50 exahashes this month. I don't know what the hell I'm saying, but the chart. So, I mean, it's a positive piece here, but explain to us why this is another reason maybe people want to be long Bitcoin.
So when I ask somebody, hey, you know, what is the value that's backing that asset? A lot of people say there's nothing backing Bitcoin.
Right.
But actually, if you think about in the digital world, the single most valuable commodity in the world is computing power. And Bitcoin is backed by computing power. And that's what you're seeing here. How much computing power is behind the Bitcoin network, right? What is running this network? And so Bitcoin's network is the strongest computer network in the entire world. It's faster and it is stronger than all the supercomputers and all the really highly technical things. Bitcoin is a decentralized network with all this computing power. And so what does that mean? The more computing power that's pointed towards Bitcoin, the more secure it is. And the whole idea of Bitcoin is that it's outside the system, no one can hack it, and no one's going to be able to change it. And so when you see that chart going up and to the right, that means that Bitcoin is actually getting stronger. The more stronger the Bitcoin is, the more valuable people are.
And that's part of the real actual value proposition, not just, hey, you know what, it's anti-fiat currency, but that puts some real meat on the fundamental bone.
Yeah, if you think about what is the system behind it, right? There's actual people have gone, they've bought computers, they've plugged them in, they're consuming power, they're turning power into money. And the more computing power that's on that network, the stronger it is, the harder it is to hack. And so just like gold, right, the more that you can physically touch the gold, the more it's in your possession. Same thing here is the network is being protected by that computing power. Right. And so you want to see that continue to go up and to the right for as much as it can.
Before I let you go, stock market is looking phenomenal. We've had a big run in a lot of things. Commodities may be coming on. Are you feeling okay overall? Are you one of these people, though, that gets a little antsy when things feel too good?
So I think it's interesting. The S&P hit an all-time high. We got over 5% interest rates. But what I would say is if you look at global liquidity, that's really the driver here. And we have seen global liquidity now is showing a number of different signs based on how you measure it, that we are going to see much more money sloshing around in the global economy, regardless of what the Fed does. And I do think that that'll serve as a tailwind for the next couple of years.
All right. Love it.